Okay, well, thank you everyone for making the time to join us at this busy time of the year. I know that not everybody has been able to join us in person today, so hopefully if you're watching this back, you'll still get something out of that. Thank you also to our technology providers and partners that have joined the call today. It's really exciting that we're able to offer this session, which will allow you to interact directly with those people that we've got agreements with the department. So I'll just start with the statement of acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge that this land that we meet on today is the traditional lands for Kaurna people and that we respect their spiritual relationship with their country. We also acknowledge the Kaurna people as the custodians of the Adelaide region and that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Kaurna people today. We also pay respect to the cultural authority of Aboriginal people visiting or attending from other areas of South Australia and Australia present here. Tonight we've got a fairly jam-packed program because we've managed to get lots of our providers here. We're going to start off with talking about some software platforms that we support as a department or we've got agreements with. So we're going to hear from these 5 providers here, and then we're going to have a session around device management, and Tom Shearing from the digital architecture business unit will take us through that. And then we're going to close with one of our technology for learning partners, Lumination. So with that, I might introduce our Adobe contact who is joining us today, and that's Eric. So I will hand over to Eric.
Thanks, Abigail. So, as Abigail said, my name's Eric Drew. My role for Adobe is to work with the Department for Education to help strengthen the digital capability of staff and students and to maximise the use of digital technologies in teaching and learning. So the way that Adobe Creative Cloud can do that is through, if you just go back for me for a tick, Abigail, is through differentiating digital literacy using the Creative Cloud suite of apps to provide agency for students to present learning in many modes and provide access to responsible generative AI in our Firefly model. Thank you. So the products that are available are the Adobe Express bundle, which if you have an admin console at your site, then you're able to provision the Adobe Express bundle at no charge at all. And then the All Apps provides the 20+ Creative Cloud apps, so a vast array of media there at a small cost. I think it's $8 per license there. And you're also able to apply the All Apps license to shared devices, which allows multiple entitled users to access the license on that device. And Adobe Captivate is a product that's also available if you're keen on designing online learning pathways or courses, then Adobe Captivate is a good product for you. And we've just had our Safer Tech for Schools badging renewed. And embedded within all of the Creative Cloud applications, we have our Adobe Firefly, which is our generative AI engine. So this is a bit about Adobe Firefly. So there's deep integrations within our Adobe apps like Photoshop, Adobe Express, Adobe Illustrator, all with the purpose to allow staff and students to achieve outcomes that would usually take a lot of time and a high degree of skill to actually achieve that. So it really accelerates that creative process and brings down the entry level for users. Next slide, please. So,
oh, sorry.
That's right. Adobe Express is our approachable web app. So that's really our entry level, all-in-one application where you can create web pages, which might be useful for demonstrating process or learning portfolios, that kind of thing. really easy video editing and traditional infographics, all with some Adobe stock content that's available within there as well. Thanks, Abigail. Next slide, please.
Sorry about this.
Oh.
Sorry, my computer's here. We've gone. I might just stop and share
It's all right.
again.
It's allowing me to do it.
Oh, it's allowing you. Okay.
Yep. Okay. So to differentiate digital literacy, really, Adobe Express is the entry-level app, and then we have stepping stones towards some of that, the higher end, high precision apps like InDesign, Premiere Pro, Photoshop, and this is to allow access to really anyone to start creating successfully, and then really slowly leveling up digital skills until by the time students leave school, they're armed with skills in applications that actually get used in industry quite commonly. And there's a vast array of capabilities, and this is how Adobe Creative Cloud applications can really support students to demonstrate learning in many different modes. And that progression is evident in all of these different modes that you can see. So from presentations to videos, web app designs, illustrations, all sorts of things. So the Adobe Education Customer Success team really has a goal of making creativity fun for students and increasing engagement in your classrooms. And they empower students to demonstrate learning in impactful ways and in many modes. And while doing this, developing skills for the future, so that really developing the digital fluency, as well as problem-solving skills, critical thinking that's embedded with it, is preparing students for the future. And then we provide professional learning and instructional support as well. So we have a broader Adobe Education Customer Success team that I'm part of, and myself, am a resource that's available to the Department for Education, really on request, so feel free to get in touch with me. This is some engagements that we have planned for the start of next year already, and on the side are some sessions that are available at the moment, or it's also possible to do bespoke sessions and enablement as well, so feel free to get in touch. We also offer professional learning and resources on our Adobe Education Exchange. So there's lots of different stuff there, including Lightning Learning courses where you can achieve micro-credentials, things like that, to help upskill yourself and embed creativity in your lessons. And we also support teachers in their professional growth by offering Adobe Creative Educator courses, which also you gain accreditation for, and it also gives you access to a community that connects through events like social media, live streaming, and sharing of best practice and support. So that's it for me. Thanks very much for your attention, and if you're interested, feel free to get in contact. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. So we've got some contact details for Eric, and we will be sending those slides to you as well. Apologies for the slides not moving in sync. I think Eric took control of my computer, which confused things a bit. That's okay, but you will get a copy of the slides, and because I am sharing this presentation live, you can navigate yourself back and forth through the slides. So thank you, Eric. And our next digital provider is ClickView. So I'm now going to hand over to Del.
Wonderful. Thanks, Abigail. So I'm Delvine Nielsen. I am the Chief Customer Officer for ClickView. So I'm very grateful to be spending a short time with you this afternoon. So just thought we'd frame, we'll obviously do a little bit of an introduction, talk about what ClickView is, training and support, and sort of next steps to get involved. So some of you may or may not know of ClickView. If you know of ClickView from many years ago, ClickView has undergone a significant change and newest versions. So I guess this is an opportunity for me to talk to you hot off the press about, if you already know ClickView, what's new, and for those of you who don't, really the impact. So ClickView is, I guess our mission and our goal is to help teachers and schools reach students through video. I guess the way we do that is ensuring that we are home to sort of fun, fresh curriculum-aligned videos to support students. Probably just back one more, Abigail. Sorry. And so I guess there's 3 important elements that we're focusing on at ClickView. It's how do we help teachers discover videos quickly and easily? How do we ensure that they engage every student and really sort of enhance and capture sort of curiosity through the video? And then how do we, enhance the way that teachers can actually understand the impact of video? So everything that we're doing at ClickView is around purposeful learning with video, and really through these sort of 3 sort of approaches around discoverability, engagement, and understanding the impact. So we take a closer look through, I guess, the Discover lens and what schools and teachers have access to. So just the next slide would be great now, Abigail. So everything on ClickView, we're an R12 resource. Everything on ClickView is a curriculum-aligned videos. So that's for every subject, topic, and class. And everything is a walk-up start. So we map everything, and the aim is to ensure that teachers can find content that's relevant for their classroom to enhance the lesson as quickly as they possibly can. We have also a very big focus on a large team that's really focusing on trending K-12 topics and really highly curated topics. This is a big change at ClickView. Previously, I'll be really honest, there was just a whole lot of video content under sort of subject and topic areas. We're really obsessing about doing the hard work for schools and teachers. And so really we've got these highly curated topics that really scaffold the learning and help identify and discover the right content for teachers as quickly as possible. Next slide, Abigail. What we're also doing as a result of that is that is trying to simplify lesson planning. So every one of our videos comes with resources, sort of teaching and learning lesson plans and guides. Again, trying to make everything as much of a walk-up start, classroom-ready materials that teachers can tap into immediately. We also really obsess about diversity of videos, and really this also plays into sort of the engagement piece. So we know that learners love short, sharp content, and we've spent a lot of time really focusing. Some of the content on ClickView has been lengthier in the past, and we're really focused, particularly for sort of, I guess, the primary years, short, sharp, three-minute videos to really ensure that you can use that either as a hook for some sort of reinforcement of sort of knowledge and skills, or as some sort of capture of learning. So everything is about diversity. Animations, we produce our own content. We acquire the best content to fill sort of gaps in curriculum where we don't have the best content available. And we're really putting it under one sort of, I guess, umbrella to allow teachers and schools to really benefit from that diversity of content. We also really focus on movies and TV. And so movies and TV has literally had a facelift in the last literally 2 months. And so again, making sure that sort of videos that can be used as text, important videos that can be used for sort of social emotional well-being, growth mindset, potentially bullying, are also in one place where teachers can actually find very quickly what they're looking for. We are also taking the time to actually look at how we clip these full-length movies to then embed them within those highly created topics. And so it might be just taking a snapshot of a movie and then embedding it within multiple topics. And you'll see some things like Bluey and how we're making Bluey a way of actually teaching space and bringing a clip from a Bluey space concept into our sort of curriculum topic. So a lot of things that are accessible to teachers as a walk-up start, but we're also taking the responsibility to try and tap into and clip some of that really highly popular movies and TV. So then once we've allowed teachers to discover the content that they need for their classroom, we're then really looking at how can we further engage? How can we make video a more active and less passive experience? And so really looking at our interactive videos. So our content and curriculum teams have interactive videos on every single video. They have a range and diversity of question types and text types, and these are ready to go. Your teachers also have the ability to make their own, but we also know the time-poor nature of teachers, and so we're doing the heavy lifting to make sure everything is classroom ready. And that can be then used to sort of use video purposefully for some sort of formative assessment. What we're finding also is our schools are using our interactives for differentiation and really catering for that diversity within classrooms. So where our perhaps interactive video might be used for the majority of the class, we're also having teachers that are, I guess, personalising, reducing the, I guess, cognitive load of some of the questions if required for some students in the classroom, and then looking at how they actually leverage this further through the use of interactivity of that video. And then next.
Jill, we might have to skip a little bit because we're running a bit short of time.
Yeah, let's go. We can move straight into the understand. So I think you're still on engage, Abigail. So if you just move forward. So I guess one thing before we go into training and support, Abigail, if you maybe just go back one slide. What we also do is provide actionable school-wide analytics, but also teacher analytics that can really show what video has been watched, what percentage of a video has been watched, and all of the results that flow through both at a teacher level and also a school level to really, again, use video for purpose. We also, like Adobe, have an extensive customer success team, so we can move on to the training and support. My colleague Hayden is actually in Europe on honeymoon at the moment, so I'm stepping in. He's based in South Australia, and he is the in-region support. Some of you may be familiar if you're already using ClickView. We've listed his contact details as well, and he's here for all your training and support needs. We also have online and on-demand support, lots of videos, training guides, but ClickView is known to be a walk-up start, but we do provide support every step of the way. So how to get involved if you're not already. Next steps, you can move to the next slide. If you're a secondary and Arta 12 school, you can log in for access, and we've given details about how you do that through the portal and with your school's email address. If you're a primary school, you are able to reach out directly to my colleague Dylan Bird and book a demo, and we can take you through to help you understand if ClickView is the right fit for you as well, so that you can maximise the use of video in your primary classroom.
Thanks very much, Jill. And remember, we will have time for questions after as well, so if you've got questions. But again, we've just got a closing slide with some links to some more information on Edit and also those contact details that Jill mentioned. The next software piece that we're going to look at is Clicker 8. Now, they're not actually an Australian company, they're based in the UK. So with the time zone difference, they're not able to be with us today. But they have provided a bit of a clip for you to have a look at. So I might just show the beginning, because this talks about what Clicker 8 is, if you're not familiar with it. And we go from there.
Clicker is an innovative literacy and language support tool that is designed to help children of all abilities achieve rapid and permanent gains in their reading, writing, and speaking and listening skills, whilst improving their access to the whole curriculum. Clicker uses the principles of universal design to ensure its literacy and language support benefits all learners and makes a lasting impact on their education. At the heart of Clicker sits a supportive, child-friendly word processor, which is specifically designed to progress children's literacy skills. It's particularly useful for emergent, developing, and struggling writers. Clicker provides learners with various scaffolds to help them confidently tackle literacy tasks and effectively demonstrate their knowledge by removing unnecessary barriers to writing. Clicker's predictor and spell checker boost spelling accuracy and embed good spelling habits. Writing frames provide varied levels of writing support to enable pupils to focus on core skills and develop their writing confidence. Sentence sets are perfect for emergent and early readers and writers, building simple sentences word by word. Connect sets are a scaffolded writing activity for more developing writers. They provide more choice while still offering a lot of support. Word banks are great for more independent writers who can access vocabulary laid out alphabetically, in topic-based tabs, or as a writing frame. Clicker boards enable pupils to plan their writing in the way that suits their learning style best, with written notes, voice notes, and pictures, which can later be inserted into a Clicker document as a writing prompt, or transformed into a word bank to support them as they write. Many features of Clicker provide reading support for pupils. Clicker's realistic speech feedback enables pupils to hear their work read back to them, reinforcing the relationship between how words look and how they sound.
Over 1,500 species of fish live in the Great Barrier Reef.
Picture support can be added at the click of a button with Picturize, harnessing over 4,500 curriculum pictures that can be inserted to further reinforce word meaning and association, build children's understanding of language, and help them find the word they want or decode new vocabulary. Clicker books are talking books that support emergent readers and EAL pupils, with nearly 600 available on our free resource site, Learning Grids. Clicker books provide subject matter and comprehension levels suitable to pupils' particular learning needs and objectives. As Clicker is an all-in-one literacy and language support tool, all Clicker's writing features can be accessed in Clicker books, helping children write and read their own books too. Matching sets are a lovely pre-reading matching activity for introducing or reinforcing vocabulary. They allow you to match a combination of pictures, words, and sounds to build children's vocabulary. They are particularly useful for younger learners in the early stages of building literacy skills, or learners with specific language needs.
Well done.
Develop children's reading comprehension skills with Clicker Close. These fill-in-the-blanks activities can be built from any text in minutes. These are fantastic for reinforcing topic vocabulary and modelling its use in context. Speaking and listening are fundamental skills for pupils to develop, so opportunities to practice these are embedded throughout Clicker. Talk sets give children the opportunity to explore new vocabulary, demonstrate their knowledge, recount stories or key processes, and rehearse their ideas for writing. Teachers can use them to collect evidence of speaking and listening attainment, as well as provide crucial opportunities for young learners and emergent English speakers to familiarise themselves with core vocabulary, whilst enabling pupils to authentically record their thoughts, perfect for evidencing the voice of the child. Learning Grids is a library of thousands of free, ready-made Clicker resources created by our curriculum team. This is an ever-expanding bank of high-quality curriculum resources, saving teachers valuable time. Our resources are easily shared between colleagues and their pupils to ensure seamless access. Plus, with Clicker Analytics, teachers can access valuable data about each child's writing journey at the touch of a button. Clicker is for everyone. Our accessibility tools ensure Clicker can support an even wider group of learners. They include switch and eye gaze options, as well as super keys, which aids pupils who struggle with fine motor control. Whatever devices you have in school, you can have access to Clicker. It can be accessed across Windows, Mac, iPad, and Chromebook devices. There are currently 3 Clicker apps, allowing you to access the same reading, writing, and speaking and listening support on iPads and Chromebooks as Windows or Mac PC.
We currently have an agreement with Clicker 8 around special pricing for department schools, but this is only valid for this year, so it will stop in January of this year. So if your school is looking to get a word processing piece of software to support students, especially students with learning difficulties and students with English as a second language, if you can get in contact with Neil Andrews before the end of the year, then you'll be able to access that special pricing. Okay, our next speaker is Mandy from Makers Empire. So I'll hand over to Mandy.
Thank you, Abigail. Hi, everybody. I'm Mandy Dimitriadis, and I'm the Director of Learning at Makers Empire. Thanks, Abigail. Can you click?
Oh, sorry.
And make my little dude jump around? Oh, it didn't work. Makers Empire is a 3D education technology company established in Adelaide about 9 years ago. I've been with the company for 8 years, and my background is as a teacher across South Australian schools in primary and special education, as well as museum education and education department curriculum and pedagogy roles. But anyway, Makers Empire has a vision that we want to see all students become creators, innovators and problem solvers, not just consumers of technology. We believe that that skill set and way of thinking is what our young people need to make their worlds better and adapt and thrive in the future. Thank you. So we set about achieving these goals by helping students to develop their creative thought confidence and their design thinking skills and an interest in STEM learning through the use of our easy-to-use 3D design software and learning programs. So we established it 9 years ago. We're still based in Adelaide, and since that time, we now have 1,000 schools, more than 1,000 schools using our platform in 51 countries around the world, and we have 3.3 million students creating over 100,000 new 3D designs every day. But super excited to be working with South Australian schools and teachers. When I talk about Makers Empire, there's really three streams to the products that we provide. We have the really easy to use 3D modelling software, so it's like a beginner's CAD. It's downloadable onto all platforms, so it works on Windows, Mac, iPads, Android, etc. And we package that together with our teacher dashboard, which is where teachers monitor what students are doing. You can assign curriculum aligned challenge courses and design missions, assess and provide feedback, as well as download students' design for 3D printing and other digital applications. And the other thing that we really value is professional learning. So we offer a range of professional learning options and bespoke training and support sessions. So this is Maker World. This is where you land when you first hop into the Makers Empire app, and it's where the students will access all of the inbuilt content. So that might be things that teachers have assigned to students or that we have provided within the app. We also, within the Makers Empire platform, there are 3 modelling tools. So you can create, create designs using Shaper, combining different shapes together, and Blocker, which is a little bit like Minecraft for building. And just recently, we have added our advanced module. Excuse me, I'll just grab a drink. The advanced module has been specifically designed for around the year 7 to 9 cohort, and it's a segue between what we traditionally were doing at Makers Empire and some more technical professional CAD like Fusion 360. So if you click, can you click play on that, please, Abigail? This just is a quick demonstration of how you might design something in Maker's Empire, the kind of functionality that you can play back what you have made. I don't know what that voice is, but you can add voice recording. Yeah, so you can see the iterations and the edits that students create. Thank you. Through our 3D modelling software, our programs support design thinking processes, very much aligned to the Australian Curriculum Design and Technologies, and framed as a problem-solving methodology that we believe is really important for our young people. All of our programs are aligned to Australian curriculum, as I said, particularly in design and technologies, but we also take a STEM approach and will bring in other areas as appropriate into our programs. I talked briefly about challenge courses. These are a series of activities linked through a theme, all aligned to curriculum that you can assign to students. They watch videos, short videos that we create in-house, back please, and then their avatars within the app respond to quiz questions around those videos, and they design tutorials, and then they all end with an open-ended design thinking challenge. A lot of these also address the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So, for example, Oceans of Trash, you watch a video and do the quizzes, learn how to make baby turtles and so on. And then the design thinking challenge is to design something that will clean our oceans or prevent them becoming polluted. And you can assess all of this through the dashboard. Thank you. One of the things that we offer to our schools are what we call managed projects, and these are an opportunity to have some ongoing support over the period of a term. They're based around one of these challenge courses, and you can sign up for these. You'll get regular materials sent to you, scaffolds and webinars and things like that to support you implementing these in the classroom. And at the end, we will have an online back please, Abigail, an online gallery of this work that students have developed. You can sign up for these through the Maker's Empire website. Thank you. Also, we are often sponsored to facilitate projects that include everything, include the Maker's Empire subscription, a 3D printer, and so on. And some of our sponsors, we work with the Anti-Thomas Space Foundation and the Australian Space Agency. We've got a new one coming with RAA. There's a middle school program with the Construction Industry Training Board. There's a bunch of different options. If you hop onto our website, you can register your interest in finding out more. And the other thing that I suggest you do if you are interested in Maker's Empire is sign up for a trial. You can access everything for 45 days and check out whether it might suit your needs. And we also have 3D printer packages as well. So you can purchase 3D printers through our website or contact us. Anything that you create in Maker's Empire can be 3D printed, but you can also use students' digital designs in AR and other digital formats. Thank you.
Thanks, Mandy. And again, we've got some information on Edit and also Mandy's contact details. Okay, our next provider is Pivot. So I'd like to introduce Caroline from Pivot.
I'm Caroline Hartley from Pivot Professional Learning, and I'm the school's partnership manager. So Pivot really focuses on helping schools leverage student voice to maximise their impact on learning and wellbeing. So we were founded in 2014, and we work across Australia, and we've also got some international customers supporting them in their school improvement journeys. So the student survey on teaching has three components. So the survey itself is actually designed at 3 different levels depending on the age of the student. So we have, foundational reception to year 2, lower to upper primary and secondary. It's supported by a range of reports and data insights. So that gives teachers insight into students' learning experience within the classroom, and the reports for teachers are confidential to them. So school leaders have access to aggregated school level data, which can be segmented by year level, campus, learning area, department, and that can help guide and support their teaching teams through reflective practice and professional learning. And wrapped around that, we have a range of resources that provide targeted recommendations for all of the elements in student survey and teaching. So the Student Survey and Teaching is all aligned to international and regional teaching frameworks. So everything is mapped back to the AITSL professional standards for teaching, and all of those references to the various teaching frameworks made within our survey questions and our supporting resources. So in terms of impact, the schools that work with us really say there are 3 compelling reasons that they're using Student Survey on Teaching. And one of them is to support their school improvement agenda. Secondly, to enable capturing student voice and promoting student agency. And thirdly, to capture that data to help inform teacher professional development. So how does this work? The key domains that we're looking at in Student Survey on Teaching, so the key teaching domains are instruction, classroom environment, relationships, and student voice. So all of our questions are framed around those 4 key domains, and we have a range of additional questions that we have designed that can be added into school survey cycles. So as I mentioned, there are 3 levels of the survey. This is an example of level 1. So we're talking about the reception to year 2 students. They've got a very, very simple emoji-based survey. There is an audio narration that they can listen to, and it's a quite simple process for them to follow. Students in levels 2 and 3, so that's students from year 3 to 6 in a primary school, or in secondary school is level 3. Their questions are a little bit more complex. So there's 25 core questions that are covering 3 teaching domains, so instruction, relationships, and classroom environment. There's that option to add in 5 additional questions that are customizable for the for each school. And there's a 6-point scale that we're looking at. So each has the audio narration, as we can see here. So the surveys are really simple to administer. Students log in with their student ID, and then they're served up the most appropriate version of the survey for them. Generally, they'll take only a couple of minutes to respond, perhaps a little bit more for the younger students. So, yeah, in terms of surveying, we do recommend that there are at least, that's okay. There are at least 2 survey cycles a year. Obviously, that helps with building up, you know, some data across those particular cycles. We've got recommendations about, you know, the way that you might want to structure that in terms of an implementation plan, and it allows to set clear professional development goals and plan across the year. So in terms of reporting, let's jump into that. So this is an overview of the teacher reports. So at a classroom level, teachers are seeing only the responses from their students clearly. We structure the headline reports around 3 areas for celebration, so areas of strength and growth, and 3 areas for conversation, so areas that, you know, we might want to focus on. Teachers can compare between their particular classes, and then they can dive into some classroom resources to guide their next steps. In terms of leader reports, so leaders can get a comprehensive report for each survey cycle across the whole school. It can also filter those, as I mentioned, by year level, campus, learning area, department, and have a real dive into those results and look at those areas of celebration and focus, things that are going strength and are going really well, and those areas of focus where we might want to have some additional attention. In terms of supporting resources, every single question is supported by a really comprehensive resource library, which provides context and research for every single element. It maps it back to the AITSL teacher standards. It provides question prompts that teachers may want to use with their students and also in their professional learning communities conversations, because that's where we see the real power of this. We provide a range of coaching and support, both to implement the survey and, to review the data from each survey cycle. We've also got some additional support that are options around professional learning in schools. And
thanks,
yeah.
Caroline. That's great. So again, we've got some links to where you can find out some more information and Caroline's contact details as well. I'm now going to hand over to Tom Shearing, who's going to run the next part of the session.
Thanks, Abigail. Hi all, my name is Tom Shearing. I'm part of the digital architecture team in the department's ICT services division, and I lead the central strategy around how Apple technology is deployed, managed and used in schools. For the past 12 months, we've undertaken a significant evolution of our central Apple strategy through support from our partners at Apple, Jamf and also CompNow, and that's focused on a couple of key pillars. So if I can, Abigail, I'll get you to skip forward to the next slide. Well, that's not looking good.
Oh dear, that isn't. Okay, sorry about that. Because it looks fine in my slides. Bear with me for a moment. There we go. I might just share my screen and you'll see the back end. Apologies for this. That's the slide you wanted, Tom?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. So the evolution of our strategy is focused around two key pillars. The first being the adoption of our central Apple School Manager, and then a transition from our current Meraki MDM to a Jamf School MDM. Benefits of the centralisation of Apple School Manager is to automate the creation of user and class data to support on-device experiences. And longer term, we're looking to be able to provide centralised purchasing of paid apps to be able to leverage volume pricing across schools. With Jamf School, the adoption of this platform allows greater functionality and ease of use for our technicians, and also improved access and a reduced reliance on central ICT, as well as improved teaching and learning workflows and outcomes for students and teachers. More recently, we've introduced a subsidised license cost model, which I'll come back to and talk a little bit more in a while. So I'll hand over to Patrick from Apple, who will talk further around the specifics of our engagement with Apple.
Thanks,
and
Tom.
I'm just going to try and switch back to our presentation. Right.
Great, thank you, Abigail. Patrick from the Apple Education team here. Hi, everyone. And now at Apple, we see students and educators around the world using our products to do incredible things, from supporting literacy for early learners to enabling the next generation of app developers. And one of the things that we know is important to schools is creating those quality learning experiences, which impacts not only a student's education, but their opportunities in life as well. And that is what drives us to create the best possible experience for our users. Next slide, thanks, Abigail. Now, it's Mac and iPad that are the foundation of our offerings to schools. And because we build both the hardware and the operating systems, we can deliver those extraordinary user experiences for every teacher and every learner. We've got built-in apps and features, as well as that amazing breadth of education apps that really bring the hardware to life. And if you add an Apple TV into the classroom, you open up even more possibilities, allowing for things like seamless wireless presentations. Next slide, thanks. But today we're focusing on the department's centralised Apple School Manager, which Tom mentioned earlier, and what it can do for your school. Now, this centralised Apple School Manager provides a managed Apple ID for every student and staff member at the department. Now, managed Apple ID is an Apple account that uses your familiar EdPass credentials to access education-focused Apple services. Next slide, thanks. Managed Apple IDs provide access to the Classroom and the Class Work apps, as well as shared iPad and 200 gigabytes of iCloud storage for documents, backups, and collaborative projects. The Classroom app is available for both iPad and Mac. It's free and enables teachers to guide how their students use devices and apps in the classroom so that teachers can focus on teaching. Popular features of the Classroom app include the ability to lock students into a particular app, quickly share resources via AirDrop, and even see a live view of the screens of student devices. Classwork is an iPad app where teachers can create handouts of work for students to complete, tracking their progress and providing tailored suggestions for learning paths. Now, shared iPad is a solution for where one-to-one isn't possible. It allows students to log into an iPad and make it their own, saving any content they create directly to the cloud so they can pick up right where they left off on another device. And the great news is you can take advantage of all of these features while also continuing to use the tools and the apps that your teachers are familiar with, such as the Microsoft 365, Google Workspace for Education, and all the other great pieces of software we've heard about today. And with that, a little bit more from Tom.
Yep. So a couple of resources. So a knowledge article, Cloud Services Central Apple School Manager for anyone who's looking to know more, and a request form for site technicians and leaders who wish to request access to the Central Apple School Manager. And worth noting that there is no cost to use Apple School Manager, including the central one. Move into our presentation from our partner Francesco at Jamf.
Awesome, thanks. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. So my name is Francesco. I'm from the Jamf education team. And at Jamf, our mission is to empower student success. We bridge the gap between what Apple creates and what education requires. Here, just some of the numbers that shows our commitment to helping students succeed with Apple across 40,000 education institutions globally, and more than 11,000 of them across Australia and New Zealand, including SADFE. Next slide, please, Abigail. We've been working closely with the department to provide a central MDM solution to offer to all SADFE schools. Designed for education, Jamf Schools enables deployment and management of devices with ease, so educators can focus on creating the best learning environment with Apple. Jamf School comes with some great features, such as Central Dashboard, which offers a comprehensive overview to track devices, users, and apps, while easily identifying issues that need attention. The classroom management easily manage classes by dragging and dropping the required apps and content and creating restrictions. Teachers can, or like you, can also request apps from Jamf School, which are then shared with the AT admin directly. Location, which helps the department managing all schools centrally and still giving them access to make changes at individual school level. And the syncing, obviously, with Apple School Manager that Patrick just spoke about, to import apps, users, and classes, and support that Apple shared iPads that we just seen in the previous Apple slides. Next slide, please, Abigail. So to extend the classroom capabilities, Jamf School offers 3 apps that provides education workflows on the devices they're installed on. Jamf Teachers give teachers the tools to manage their classes and keep students focused. Jamf Parent provides management tools to enable parents to manage their kids' devices when they are at home. Jamf Student gives students managed control of their own devices. All 3 apps are included in the Jamf School subscription. And with that, I'll hand it over back to Tom to provide some more information about the Jamf offering at the department.
Yeah, thanks, Francesco. So once again, there's a knowledge base article on Jamf School and the license information available, and a request form if you'd like to request access to evaluate or even to adopt the use of our central Jamf School platform. With respect to licensing costs, we've recently entered into an agreement with Jamf and able to provide a subsidised licence cost for schools at a 50% discount via a RES chargeback. This process is still being finalised and we'll look to communicate further around this in early 2024. There's also the option to purchase a perpetual licence. As I said, all of this information and more is included in the KB, so I'll refer you back to that for further information. Jamf School operates as a single licence vendor, so our partner CompNow, who we'll hear from in a moment, is assigned to purchase the vendor to purchase licensing through, and their contact information is provided at the bottom there also. So with that, we'll hand over to Michelle from CompNow to talk a little bit more around our partnership with them. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. Hi, everyone. Lovely to meet you. My name is Michelle Bunter, and I'm the National Apple Education Specialist at CompNow. Now, just to provide a brief background, if you don't know about us, and a little bit about myself. So I've been a teacher for over 17 years before moving to Apple for 3 years, and now I'm with the amazing CompNow. Now, what you may not know about CompNow is that we've been involved in education for over 30 years. And we actually started out as a small storefront in Melbourne, and we have grown nationally to have over 450 employees nationally at the moment. And we keep growing. Thanks, Abigail. Next slide. Now, when it comes to Apple, well, Apple is in our DNA and our credentials speak for themselves. We have a number of them, but most recently, we have been awarded the Apple Authorized Education Specialist Partner. It's a lot of words, but what that does mean is that not only do we work closely with our friends at Apple, like Patrick, who you see on the call today, but it also means that at CompNow, we have dedicated headcounts across the AAES program. So you can see the 4 of us there, but that's not all. What we also needed to do to be certified, we've been selected because we can support any school and any system with your complete device needs. So from purchasing through to servicing, managing, sustain IT solutions for end of life, but most importantly with your professional learning, we've got your back, and we can walk a technology and pedagogical journey unique to you and your school. Now, in South Australia, you have the amazing Ben Stratton, who is the South Australia Education Sales Manager on this call today, who is here to support you, as well as the incredible teacher and Apple Professional Learning Specialist, Karen Pastro. Both of these amazing crew are your local team ready to help and support. Now, speaking of Karen, as an APLS, Karen is able to support your school with all of your professional learning needs. Thanks, Abigail. So from coaching to vision planning, leadership engagements, Mac and iPad workshops, mentoring side by side, if you happen to utilize 365 or Google on your Apple devices, we can support you with all of that as well. Here at CompNow, we also pride ourselves on providing bespoke PL engagements, completely aligned to your school's vision and mission, but most importantly, also to your school improvement plans. Now, I couldn't encourage all of you more to reach out to our team today to see how we can continue to support you on your technology and pedagogical journey. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Michelle, and thanks, Tom, as well. Tom, did you have any closing words before we move on to our last part of the session today?
That's all from me. Thanks, Abigail.
Perfect. So this brings us to our last partner that we're going to hear from today, which is Lumination, to provide technology to schools, and I'll hand over to Hannah.
Thanks, Abigail. And good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hannah Benson, and I actually think I've probably met or spoken with most of you over the course of the last couple of years of my work with Lumination here. Now, before I jump into what we do and how we work with the department, I just want to acknowledge that this has been a really long webinar. So the very first thing I want to do is cover why this is important for you and why it's worthwhile just giving me 5 more minutes of your attention. Thanks, Abigail. So why is immersive learning in schools important? So just to sum it up with 3 key things to remember, when done effectively, we can remove barriers to achieving equity. So you think of students in regional or remote areas, or maybe students from a disadvantaged background that don't have the same opportunities for learning contexts like some of our more privileged students. The other one is we can support teaching and learning right across the curriculum. This is not just about digital tech. This is not just about learning about the technology. This is about providing experiential learning opportunities for students across HASS, STEM, the arts, PE. So think of tricky science experiments that teachers cannot do within the four walls of the classroom, or think of historic sites, or think of any concept that requires students to really visualize their learning. That's where immersive learning comes in. The other one is to equip students with technical but also soft skills, and these are the skills that employers are asking for. Collaboration, critical thinking, empathy are just some of those. Next slide, Abigail. So when I talk about immersive learning, what does that mean? So in our context, that encompasses virtual reality and augmented reality in the first instance. Now, for those that don't know, virtual reality is when you are in a virtual reality headset, like that student from Adelaide Botanic High School there, and she is 100% immersed in a digital environment. So she's no longer seeing the real physical environment around her. Whereas augmented reality are always related to Pokemon Go or Snapchat. So you're still very much in your own environment, but there's a digital asset there. Now, with immersive learning, students cannot be passive. They have to be active participants in their learning. Students will often say that they feel like they're really there, and that's the illusion of presence. And that is why this is so powerful for learning. And we all know that as humans, we learn best from experiences. So the fact that we can facilitate this through technology is incredibly powerful. But important to acknowledge that immersive learning is not just about content consumptions. We really need students to move from consumption to creating. That is how we're going to unlock that critical thinking and problem solving. Now that you know why it's important to know about us, who are we? So we're a South Australian company with a mission to revolutionise the way people teach, learn and work. And we do that using virtual reality, augmented reality, and also artificial intelligence solution. Now, it's important to note that it's not just technology. So please don't think of us as just another tech retailer, because there is too much unused technology out there in schools already. The very last thing, I'm seeing some nodding there, the very last thing we want to do is add to that. So we blend technology with education and implementation support. So if you can go to the next slide, Abigail. Just a quick overview of the over 30 lab schools that we now work with across the country. You'll see that the majority of those are in SA, go SA, and big thanks to the Department for Education there for sharing our vision and for the great collaboration. I do want to point out that of those 22 labs in SA, 18 are DFE schools. So this is not something for the privileged, large independent schools that a lot of people think. But yeah, this is something that is really doable for the department schools. And a very special hello to any of the lab schools that might be on the call today. So with that in mind, what is Illumination Learning Lab? Now, I'm going to do a little bit of live action here. I have my demo student, Stacey, in one of the headsets. Hi. I don't know if you can see this in the background. So Stacey's in one of our immersive learning stations in our lab here in Theberton. And I can clearly follow along with everything that Stacey is doing in this headset. And this is really important because it changes what used to be a really isolated, singular learning experience into an opportunity for peer learning and coaching. Now, Stacey's in a headset that we use in our industry labs as well. And it's with this kind of technology that Stacey can actually interact with that digital environment. So she's not just passively consuming the content, but she's moving around. Depending on the experience she's in, she can interact with the digital assets and even create in 3D. This is really important. Now, I want to come on to that Lead Me software part, and we need to acknowledge that the teachers that use this technology across the curriculum, they're not generally the digital tech champions. We don't need them to be digital tech champions. We just need them to have an open mind. But the last thing we want them to do is to spend class time and instruction time on technology. So we need to have the tech working in an automated way and in a way that is really intuitive. So we've developed Lead Me so that everything is controlled through a tablet. Our teachers can control the room and can control the individual learning stations to make it super easy to use and to focus on what they do best, which is teaching. Now, last but not least is the education support. I mentioned earlier that implementation is really important, and this is really where that falls in. So all of our learning labs have a learning designer allocated to them. And this is because we know that that's what you need in order to be successful with this kind of technology in the school. The learning designers are former teachers. They run regular PD sessions, curriculum planning sessions, check-in sessions. They co-create lesson plans. They run student incursions at the schools. But yeah, they're there to support the teachers in unlocking the power of the technology. And they've been in the classroom. They know what it's like. Now, Lumination's work with industry means that we know how this technology is used in the workplace and what we're preparing students for. It also allows us to bring that industry context into schools. So on the very left, you're seeing a worker from Oz Minerals, now BHP, in a one-to-one mining replica that we've built for them at Prominent Hill in their mining environment. Now, students from Adelaide Botanic High School are now accessing this kind of content in their senior years. So imagine a Year 12 student being able to go into an actual mine from the very safe space within their school. The other two opportunities for linking with industry and careers are through experience such as an interview simulator, but also virtual work shadowing. So imagine students being able to go and walk in the shoes of someone that they, of a career that they might aspire to, but it's too hard to get too many placements for them. Now, sadly, that is all the time we have for today. I have tried to keep it short. Abigail's smiling. She knows I can talk about this all day long. Abigail's going to very kindly send out some post-webinar information, which includes a case study of one of the local schools that we're working with here. Now, also my contact details are on here, and I would love to have a conversation if any of this sounds of interest for your school. Thank you.
Thanks, Hannah. With that, we will open up this session to anyone that has any questions for our very wonderful partners that have given us time this afternoon. So if you do have questions, you can either pop them in the chat, or you can raise your hand, or come off mic, and we'll do our best to get them answered.